Chris Lovell here with another edition of Patriot Talk. Little off-season / realignment edition of this particular show with our favorite. He's he's one of our guys, Joe Sexton. Everybody else on your campus is running crazy. You're running crazy. You're just your main sport is kind of off-seasoning,
right?
But your job is to kind of make sure everything else is running right. But we had big realignment news earlier in the week. It doesn't necessarily affect your school as much as it did maybe the other high school, but still, I want to get into that and then maybe give everybody a glimpse at what your football schedule will look like this year, because you've got a much different non-district schedule than you had last year. Yes.
Night and day.
Yeah, that's right.
Night
that's right.
And day.
Okay, so realignment. This is an every 2-year thing for
Right.
people that aren't aware, and it allows schools that are growing to kind of move up, schools that are shrinking to move down, or you stay the same, or whatever. And Liberty was kind of in this, well, we're going to kind of stay the same division and
Right.
everything like that. So what were you expecting? And it's pretty much what you...
Well, now the UIL releases...
And Colton, I'm going to let Colton put up the graphic right up here on the screen so everybody can see it. But yeah, there you go.
You've got... everybody in the UIL, realigns every 2 years, and there's just been lots of movement yesterday of people going from 5A to 6A and 6A to 5A that have been very successful, and going down, going up, and we were very fortunate to kind of stay where we have been. Our pre-district schedule has changed drastically. Quite a bit. So,
and I think you felt like it probably needed to.
When the UIL puts out those numbers, they kind of give everybody an idea about where you might land, and so.
And everybody starts doing, okay, let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, and I'm sure, on my board in my office, we had everybody's enrollment and trying to figure out kind of where we were going to be. And, just looking at all of those numbers, we had an idea where we would be, and we figured we'd be in the same district. We didn't know if anybody was going to join us in that 5-team district. I was hoping they would, so we wouldn't have to try to find a Week 6 game, because Week 6 and Week 7 games, if you're in a 4-team district trying to find a Week 7 game,
it's just hard to find.
It's hard to find.
Which this is. I mean, this is when everybody else is already well into district play in most cases.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to find another 4-team district to try to match up with, and so, but it's but it worked out pretty good for us.
So this is your football district.
Right.
It is unchanged.
Right.
This is how you roll for the next 2 years. You've still got the long road trips in Borger and Barrington. And,
we did our district draw yesterday, and we have to go to Borger, but Perryton comes to us. So
okay, and that's you're talking about this fall,
right? This fall.
Yeah.
So, and then,
and I'm going to try to say this. You have had some success
right
against these teams. I think that it's you are in a situation where you really want to try to test your kids and push your kids, and I think that you will probably be picked to win the district. I don't think I'm stepping out by saying that. It doesn't always work like that, but
right.
That's just the. But so with that, you really felt like you wanted to test your program and push your program for the benefit of the playoffs. And
right, those first 6 games we're going to have next year will definitely do that. It's going to be very tough for us. We're going to open up with Memorial, and then we go to Friendship.
And you're talking Friendship Memorial.
So
both Friendship schools.
Yes. So we get those week 1 and 2, and then week 3 we play Greenwood.
Midland Greenwood.
Midland Greenwood. They were very tough last year. They're one of the only ones that beat us last year. So we get to play them again. And then we got Plainview on there. We've got West Plains on there.
Well, there's some synergy with Plainview. We'll get to that in a minute. Because
Plainview is one of those 5A teams that came down to 4A. But we're going to get them on our schedule to play some football.
Yeah, and so what people are seeing here, this is it's confusing, but football districts are different
Right.
than, so this is the district as it relates to boys and girls basketball, baseball, softball, everything else, really.
Right. And I wish that we would just play these guys in football.
Yeah.
That would make things pretty easy. But
Yeah, that's not how.
that's not our decision.
Yeah,
But then, our week 6 game is Dumas.
Okay.
And
The Demons.
The Demons, they're always going to be good. So they're going to come down to us this year. So we we play them right before we start district. So we
Okay.
go Dumas, then Borger.
Okay.
So Borger's our opening game this year. So.
Yeah, so both friendship schools, Midland Greenwood, West Plains, and Dumas.
In Plainview.
And Plainview.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, but I think that and this is what, because like some of these football programs, this is why they do it this way. They don't have near the numbers that like say you do.
Right.
You're
Perryton was real close to going down to 3A. I think they were 5 kids away from going to 3A. I think the bottom number was 550, and they turned in 555.
So yeah, right there on the
they were really close.
Because a lot of these programs won't have like freshman teams.
Right.
Perryton
won't have a freshman team. Borger may or may not have a freshman team. So, we have to go beat the bushes and see what.
And
see
yet
if
your
we can find
varsity will have. I mean, what are you thinking this next year? 65 players.
Yeah, we're going to look at carrying about 65 kids, and then probably another 60 on the JV and another 60 on the freshman team. So we're going to be really close to 200.
And people are like, "Well, why are you still 4A?" Well, so this is a school that just isn't really growing like I think a lot of the thought.
Right.
You just happen to have really good athletes, one, and then two, all those athletes are playing football.
Right.
So the bulk of the student population is actually in your.
Probably one of the other things is our senior class was pretty small. We had like 110, 115, and they put that number in with our enrollment, and after our senior class goes away, we'll have 110 going out, and we're going to have 275 coming in. So I think the next realignment will probably jump up to a big 4A.
Okay.
But getting to 5A, I don't know that we'll ever get to that point. So,
okay.
I think our number, probably starting in the fall will be around 987.
Okay.
985, something like that. So,
okay.
But we don't know how many kids are going to move in this summer. That's always a mystery of, we know the kids that are going to be here that are already enrolled, but then the ones that move in over the summer, you just never know how that's going to work.
And yeah, thank you to Colton Coons for taking care of us on these shows. Also wanted to thank Gene Messer, Ford Lincoln, for being a part of what we're doing here too. Okay, so kind of laid out the schedule there. You already know home and away,
right?
Everything like that. With the
that worked out a lot better for us. The past 2 years we've either had 4 on the road, 6 at home, and
feast or famine.
Yeah, but we've got it set up where we've got 5 and 5 road games and 5 home games, so that's kind of more of an equal balance. Last year we were at home for 6 games, and it was so it's going to be we'll be here 1, on the road 1, and then at home 2, and then gone again. So it's pretty balanced.
Yeah. But 180-ish kids in your football. Yep. So, and that makes, let's just call it what it is. It makes playing time hard to earn.
Yes, it is
hard to earn. And you're in one of these sports where you don't cut anybody, but but also like it's hard to crack the code on being.
We talked to several coaches yesterday who were trying to figure out how they were going to practice. With our new bell schedule that's coming in next year, our classes are going to drop to 45 minutes, and that's going to affect our after-school practice because we're not going to have as many minutes during the school week.
No more block schedule.
Yeah. So our after-school practice is probably going to have to increase a little bit, but we'll we'll hit the ground running, and we'll be fine there.
Sign of the times, because I think Lubbock Cooper, correct me if I'm wrong, was one of the last schools in this whole area that was stayed on the block schedule.
There's not many schools in the state that are still on the block schedule.
Yeah, and we were fortunate enough to stay in that frame for as long as we did.
Yeah, we hung in there
as long as we could. Fought the good fight. So with all that, you mentioned it's springtime. I say that we had a foot of snow on the ground a week ago, but it's spring.
Yeah.
How did that did facilities all handle all the?
It really did.
I heard rumors of the pipes in the baseball field house being frozen.
Yeah, in our south field house, we had I think that they didn't break, but they just froze.
Okay.
We were very fortunate there. So we were without water a couple of days over there, but that's fine. Everything was good. The football field house came through, no issues. So it was we survived the snow.
Yes, we did. But it's springtime, and you had to adjust a gazillion things a week ago because of the weather and cancellations, and then you got baseball and softball trying to get going, and there's scrimmages that had to be canceled and all.
Yeah, last week was tough. You throw snow in this part of the world, and you just
freaks out,
and we got I think up north, boy, if they had to cancel everything for a little bit of snow, they wouldn't get anything done up there.
And if you've ever wanted to know the definition of a panic shopper, this is your guy. I mean.
Oh yeah, lots of toilet paper.
Yeah, the water, lunch meat, bread. I mean, he was there in line with all the other folks out there before that storm hit. I'm kidding.
Yes,
kind of.
Yeah, I'm not much of a panic shopper. I was like, all right.
Yeah, whatever.
I think one day I went to the store 3 times.
Yeah, take it as it comes. Yeah, take it as it comes. Or just drive in the snow and go to the store.
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid of driving in the snow. That doesn't bother me a bit.
You were just recently at swimming and diving competition.
Yep.
So we've got that
regional swim and dive competition. We have 2 kids moving on to the state swim and dive meet. So that was pretty cool. So that's going to be next weekend in San Antonio.
Okay.
So
Coach Maddox,
Coach Maddox's crew.
That's a year-round sport.
Yeah, Alexis Gregory is going in diving, and Dagan Patterson is he's going to swim in 2 events at the state swim meet. So it's going to be pretty fun to go watch those guys. Wrestling's in regionals right now. This weekend they are here in Lubbock. I think we have I want to say there's 4 kids that are wrestling this weekend. So that's going to be
some of your football players involved in some of that too.
One of our defensive ends, Isaac Rodriguez. He's really really fun to watch. He attacks those guys pretty good. So he's going to get to wrestle. Camilo is going to be, and he's just, he's this tall, but he always tells me he wants to get me on the mat.
He's widery.
He's very widery, but he's so skilled. It's really fun to watch him get after it.
I know Coach Glaspie and Coach Hicks's programs are rolling right now.
Yeah, we're about to start some basketball playoffs.
Big wins over Estacado last week.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That place was packed. It was rocking, and a great atmosphere. And Coach Hicks's bunch came out with – it was a true definition of a hostile environment. And it was loud, and it was – there's people like – right on the sideline, right on the baseline. So there were people everywhere, and they did really well. Coach Glaspie's group got him a big win also, and she's about to get rolling here in the next week or 2 in the playoffs. And
there's some of this component. If you see the scores of some of these basketball games, it's similar thought process with what you're talking about with football. Like you're having some crazy success in some of these sports,
right?
And so your non-district, your tournament selections need to be with a purpose. In that you've got to test and push, because that's I want to point that out with all this realignment. You're still matched up in really, I guess, every sport with that district that includes now Stephenville, Mineral Wells, Glen Rose,
Brock.
Graham.
So you better be ready.
And so yeah, it's just like the first round of the playoffs, and all these sports are gonna be certainly interesting because that's a district that I think is widely
And
respected.
both our soccer teams are winning.
Yes.
Now, I think Coach Sanchez, his group's like on a 4-game winning streak. And
Okay, very good.
And our girls are winning like always. So
Keelan doing her thing. You mentioned soccer, and I know you've got some athletes that are gonna go on to play. I want to ask you just big picture about recruiting and just the landscape.
yes,
I used to say to people that if you want to go play in college, you can go find somewhere that you can
Sure.
go play. Okay, and I think if you're willing to go smaller
Nebraska.
college or
Far
drive
away.
or go far off, like there's somewhere where you can go play. You may have to walk on, you may have to pay your own way, but you if this is what you want to go do, you can go do it. It's not necessarily as true now.
No, and it's a lot more difficult. If you're a high school athlete coming out as a senior looking for a place, I mean, it's hard. It's extremely hard because colleges do not want high school athletes anymore. I mean, unless you're just an absolute freak coming out of high school,
And there's few of those.
and there's not a lot. I mean, you have a pretty good chance to go to a school, but if you're just if you were a good high school athlete, good luck, because I'll just use football as an example. They can go get a 22-year-old out of the portal and have a ready-built program that's ready to win right now. They don't want high school kids that they have to put weight on, put in the weight room.
Develop and
Develop.
wait on there.
Yeah.
It's a win now.
Nobody wants to develop high school athletes anymore. You'll find some smaller schools that'll still take chances on some high school kids, but it's almost impossible right now. Just the way college is set up right now.
And I'm not going to mention who it is, but you and I have a mutual friend that that's in the business of college athletics that would say, I feel really bad for the high school kids because of the way the rules have changed. And,
Every college coach that has come through the field house has said the same thing. Just they feel bad for high school kids just because there's no place to go. Roster limits have taken over, so you can't have as many on the team anymore. And so now those D1 kids have fallen down to some D2 and D2 to D3, and just kind of everything's filtered down, and there's just no place for the high school kids to go. So sometimes it's hard for parents to grasp that concept of, man, there's just everything's full, and it's really hard, especially when you have some kids that want to go play so bad, and it's just, we're having a hard time trying to find some of these guys a place to go.
Yeah, but you do have some kids that are going to go on, and I think the junior colleges have been a path. But it's as we all know, college athletics is a big business.
Yes,
it is. So it's the money sports, and football and basketball are the ones that
we've got 9 athletes that are going to sign tomorrow, and we've got some soccer players. We've got softball signing. We've got some baseball guys. We've got some golf guys. So. We have some kids that are going on to play, but, when you're a high school kid, you think, man, I want to go play at Texas Tech. Well, that doesn't happen. Yeah. And like you said, junior colleges are, in my opinion, right now, one of the best places to go. You're going to go get your school paid for the next couple of years, and then you're going to be a college athlete, and somebody's going to come get you because now you're that developed athlete, and you're going to get to move up. So
if you stuck with it, you're right. But it's not
not glamorous.
Yeah, and it's
you're not going to get on a jet to go to Iowa State. You're going to have to ride on a broke down bus maybe to go to
or a van. Yeah,
I
did it. I did it for 2 years, and finally I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
I know.
This isn't as fun.
It's not glamorous by any means, but you got to really, in your heart, love doing what you're doing. And if you do that, you're going to be able to, persevere through that. We had a linebacker back in about '05, '06, something like that, who went to Cisco Junior College and played football. And, he would call me and just tell me how much he loved it.
Yeah.
And I'm
okay.
like,
good for you.
Yeah. Good. And then he went to another school after that for the next 2 years, and he made it all the way through. And he never was at a
big time
school, but he just loved playing football.
See, and that's what you find out with kids.
Yep.
When they want to keep going, it's like you find out, do I like this, or do I like what it does for me, or whatever.
Really,
but I just thought it was you've got some kids signing, and I think that's great, and I think that will continue. It's just it's harder to.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard right now, and for these 9 athletes that are signing tomorrow, that's going to be it's going to be a fun day for them and their parents, and then the real work starts.
The reality sets in on all that. Because you're not necessarily living in the biggest cities, but hey, man, go do your thing, and you have to get it out of your system, or
you'll never know.
Live life with no regrets, man.
Right, you don't want to be 30 years old and telling your kids, man, I had a chance to play college sports.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Yeah, so we're extremely excited to have these athletes move on, and there's a lot of coaches that are coming to Liberty. We had one come in last week. They're like, I didn't even know y'all were here. So we're getting on a lot of people's radar.
Lubbock is now there's more schools to come see in Lubbock, because obviously you Liberty is the thing now, and you've got seniors and all the things, but now Friendship's got another high school, and so there's more schools to come see. And I know some of the other Lubbock schools have had kids that have signed too with different sports, and so it's just, but there's also a reality component to it too. So, and I think some grasp that better than others.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the way it is, and it's some collateral damage on everybody getting paid and all these new rules and the house settlement and all these things.
I'll just tell you, I'm not a big fan of the way college athletics is right now, but that's what it is.
And I think you and I would agree that it's not changing.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That toothpaste is out of the tube. So
I agree.
So with all that, you are off season. With just how many kids do you have that are just football off season right now?
We've probably got about 35.
Okay, and how is that? How is that going?
It's been good.
Not going to do spring football.
No, we won't. We're still 4A, so we won't be able to do that yet. I don't know that I would
forget
even.
That's the cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do that, just because we have so many kids going and doing
different other sports.
Everything. Baseball, softball are up and running now, and a lot of times your quarterbacks and your receivers are playing baseball, and it's hard to get all those kids back to do spring football. So I don't know that we'll do that, but with all those sports going, I get to go watch them.
Yeah, and you enjoy that.
So we're about to log some window time here pretty quick, going and watching everything.
And you kind of, I remember it was a year ago, and you are very much in this position now, but you kind of made the decision with your roster. When you first got going, it's like, we got a lot of two-way guys. That doesn't really exist anymore with you. And you don't need it. You don't need it to be.
We just got to have depth, and I think
and
we
you've
have
got it.
We have a lot of depth. And so we're going to continue doing what we're doing, trying to play one side of the ball. If we have somebody due to injury or whatever, we have that capability of doing that. But I talked to some guys yesterday at Realignment that were having to go back to playing two ways, and
out of necessity.
Yeah, because they have to.
Yeah, out of necessity.
I'm glad we don't have to, because that gets more of our kids involved. Like you said, we don't cut. Some kids don't get as much playing time as they want, but doing it like this, we have kids that are just special teams players, and we have offensive players, we have defensive players, so kind of gets more folks involved, I think.
Yeah, and you will. You'll say goodbye to some kids this coming May.
Yeah, we're going to lose 15
time.
Seniors, and that's been a early during football season. I was kind of thinking, once I get to that day, it's going to be tough, and And then all of a sudden it was here, and it was a heck of a lot tougher than what I thought it was going to be. And
I remember that. Yeah, you were.
It's
You're
just,
not good with goodbyes.
no,
Yeah,
I'm not.
I know.
I'm really not.
You're kind of this hardened, whatever. But it's a soft spot too. this
Yeah,
guy,
especially since those kids have been here with us since day one.
from the get go. Yeah.
And last 2 years, they'd go to baseball, and I'd still get to see them, but after
And then you
this
knew
is
you were going
done,
to get them back, and
and now they're not
That's
going to be
it.
there anymore. So, but we've got our group of juniors right now. They've been with us since day one too. So we're going to hang our hat on those guys. And we've got a great sophomore class that'll be juniors next year, and so we're just going to reload and keep going.
I've got one more question for you at the end of this, but okay. So to recap, there's your same football district. There's a bit of a different. I say bit of a different in the other all sport district.
Right.
Plainview added to that, who dropped classifications. Football schedule. Friendship Memorial. West Plains, Plainview,
Greenwood.
Midland, Greenwood, and
Dumas.
Dumas. Yeah, there you go. Which is like a whole mouthful before the real thing actually even starts. That's
We're
what's
going to
always
need a bigger
crazy.
fork.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And the first home game is
Memorial.
okay. Is that week 2 or
Yep,
is that
week one.
Okay, so week
Yeah,
week
so
1
we open
you're
up at home.
That'll be a doozy.
Yeah, that will be some fun.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
and they will they have seniors or will they just have
No, they just have.
They will have juniors.
Yeah, they'll have 3 grades.
Okay, so it's like what you were 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. So anyway, but away we go, man.
Can't wait.
Super Bowl pick? You care?
Seahawks.
Oh, okay. Are you an NFC guy, or do you have a preference? Or are you
Marcus
just gonna?
Lawrence. I want him to win a Super Bowl.
He's a Cowboy fan. Okay, there you go. Is that you? Is that you just being like an angry, bitter? Like I really want him so I can.
It might be a little passive aggressive.
That's what I'm saying. That's good. Hardened soul. That's what I told you.
Yeah. I really liked him when he was at Dallas, and I think that I really want him to win a Super Bowl.
I knew you'd have an angle.
Just because I don't know that I'll ever see the Cowboys.
Somehow I was going to circle back. To that.
I hope they win. I really don't have a dog in the fight, but I just
and noted.
I like it because he's a good guy.
Noted Bad Bunny fan too. Joe Sexton. That's where he'll just decide comment.
Colton's shaking his head on that.
No commentary there. Okay.
I'll be turning that thing off.
Okay. Okay, we do get a comment.
You knew you were going to get a comment.
Offsides, Joe Sexton. All right, we got to teach more discipline in the offseason, man. You can't be jumping off sides like that. All right, well, hey, we just wanted to kind of update everybody what's going on over at Liberty, the realignment news, football offseason schedule news inside this particular show as well. My man Joe Sexton is gold, as you all know. Colton Coons, appreciate you for doing this with us. And for Chris Lovell, for Joe Sexton, for Colton Coons, we'll talk to you next time.